there are reports that the post-election violence that happened in Tanzania over the last week has drawn the attention of the International Criminal Court, which is the ICC. And that will form the basis of the discussion today on this channel. And therefore, I welcome you to the Hopkins Experience, a channel that gives you unbiased political analysis and honest personal opinions. So if you like this kind of content, it would be nice for you to subscribe to the channel. So the ICC is now, there are reports that the ICC now wants to move to Tanzania to conduct examinations and investigations over the killings that have happened in Tanzania following the elections or sham election that happened a few days ago. And the current president who has been sworn in, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, has been facing backlash both from domestic and international pressure, questioning how the elections have been, how post-election violence and protests have been handled. Because if you've been on the internet for quite some time, you've seen the amount of dead bodies that are being seen, the massacre that has gone on in Tanzania. There are so many people who have been killed, and not only killed, but killed by the bullets, government bullets, where the police were actually raining terror on people, on protesters. And the main reason people were on the streets is because they believed that the election that they were going to conduct did not give them options. They only had one option, only to vote for Samia Suluhu Hassan and nobody else. And when they revolted, they were faced with the brutal force of the government. And in the midst of all that, there has been internet shutdown, there has been power shutdown to control the chaos, to control the flow of information in the country and even outside. However, the images, the videos are found themselves online in Telegram channels, on Twitter, on TikTok, showing how brutal the government has been, and there's blood everywhere in Tanzania. And my heart goes to Tanzania as they go through these very difficult times. It is senseless death. There was no need for this kind of death to happen. Power is not something to be fought. I think Africans and African leaders have to get this straight. You let people select you, but don't go into that path of bloodbath, trying to force yourself to people. And if you look at Tanzania clearly, Tanzania is a nation that has been for long admired for its stability. It has been a stable country for quite some time, but now it is under intense international scrutiny following those violence. And in the recent protest that erupted after the general elections, there have been very deep scars in the country, and the political and social fabric has been shaken. And reports of from human rights organizations and local activists have shown that hundreds, if not thousands, of people have been killed, and many have been left. Some have been detained, and many have been left living in fear of their own government. And it is good that the International Criminal Court is opening preliminary investigations, taking evidence from people into the crimes against humanity in Tanzania, and the crackdown that against protesters, which has been very troubling to Tanzania. So it is good that at least we'll have some sort of accountability from Tanzanian side, but it doesn't stop there, because the president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has already been sworn in. So as we speak, Tanzania has a president. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter on how he was elected into or selected, put into power, but she has been sworn in, and the election cannot be contested. So there is a president, though not legitimate, and Tanzanians are now living with that fear and a bad government, a government that do not trust, and a government that has been hell bent on killing them. And the political, if you look at Tanzania, the political violence you've seen there is not new. You have seen it even in Kenya. You have seen it in other countries, African countries, where election become a test of national unity. And it's time for Tanzania to have that kind of unity, to move together, to move forward when people are divided in fear and bloodshed. The good thing about Tanzania is they have their big brother Kenya, whom they can learn a lot of things from. If you look at Kenya, we were in the same position in 2007 when we had sham elections that were rigged, and the president was sworn in hurriedly at night. So it is similar to Tanzania, where the president was hurriedly sworn in a military base, though in the broad daylight, but there was no fanfare, there was no public was bad from attending the swearing ceremony, which was quite bizarre. And that's how dictators are made out of this kind of situations, where the president wants to have absolute power over the people, and he leads the people as his subject rather than serving the people, being of service and a servant to them. So at this moment, it is important for Tanzania to start healing as a nation. And if we look at Kenya for lessons that Tanzania can form from Kenya, after ICC or incorporating ICC, because the entries of ICC here is to investigate crimes against humanity, crimes, a massacre. They're coming to investigate a massacre against a powerful government that has come in. So one is good for them to have that level of accountability, to hold the leaders accountable. The second idea, which is a good idea, they have to have a handshake or a government of national unity. Yeah, a grand government like the one we had in 2008, a government that will try to bring a country together. The country has to agree that whatever happened on election day was not an election, but rather something, a sham election, a rigged election. As soon as they accept that, now it's time for them to come back and have a handshake, sort of a government of national unity, where it brings in the president who has been sworn in, because she's not leaving power, brings in opposition leaders to come in. In 2007 in Kenya, we had Kibaki, who had stolen elections, and Raila, who elections were stolen from. They came together, brought the ideas together for the betterment of the country. The country has to move on, or without that, the country will be in ruins and people will be living in fear throughout, which is not a good thing. You have to be happy and courageous enough and proud to be in a country, but not live in fear, not live in war. It beats logic to live in a country like that. So having a handshake or a government of national unity will ensure that the people can come together and start having a conversation about the democratic space. And if you watched my previous video on Tanzania, I said that Tanzania should not take this lightly, should not let this moment pass, because Tanzania have been yearning for a new constitution, have been yearning for a new political order, have been yearning for so many things to change at once. this is the best way, the best time for them to come on the table. And as it has been said for a very long time that freedom does not come easily. Freedom comes by bloodshed, sadly. People have to be killed, people have to be maimed for government to relinquish some of the powers that it has. So it is time for, after that government of national unity comes in, it's time for them now to open a conversation about their constitution, to invite experts, because the good thing also with Tanzania, that they have their big brother Kenya, and there's very good legal minds, they're very good constitutional minds, they're very good economic minds that can easily move or can easily be leveraged from Kenya to go and assist their younger brother in trouble. We know how this can be done. We know we've been through it, and it has been successful in trying to bring people together. So it is a bold act that can calm a nation and lay a foundation for dialogue after months of hostility. It's good for the Tanzania to choose this path. And for Samia and the opposition, this is not about surrender or weakness. It's about the national survival. It's about acknowledging that political competition should never cost human lives. You just compete politically, and after that competition, you go home, and the winner leads the country to and carries the vision of the country, and those who did not win sit back and check the government that is in place. So as ICC comes in, it's just bringing in accountability in Tanzania. But accountability alone cannot build trust. What Tanzania needs now is an intense and inclusive dialogue, one that involves political leaders, in civil society, the church, brings in the youth, voices from women, all coming together. For once, they have a conversation on how they want the country to move. And the goal should be simple: to get truth, to get justice, and reconciliation. Yeah, because at the end of the day, no amount of international pressure can replace the healing that must come from within the people. And of course, if we look keenly, Tanzania's future is very bright. Yeah, imagine Tanzania and Kenya collaborating in so many things. Look at it; it's a young nation, just like Kenya. It's a dynamic with untapped potential. It has a rich culture, and its people are one of the best people, very calm, very collected people. So there is a very good future that should not be destroyed just because of an election. Yeah. But peace and prosperity will only come to Tanzania regardless of political affiliation. They should feel heard, they should feel safe and respected, because the millions of people who came out to protest, they were not just coming out like that. They had ambitions, they had an agenda on what they wanted from the government. Yeah. And for the big brother to Tanzania, Kenya, we will be watching, and history is going to judge not the mistake of the moment, but how courageously Tanzania chooses to correct the mistakes that they have done. Of course, those are very costly mistakes, and it will take a lot of time for them to go there. So Tanzania should consider opening their doors to ICC to investigate, looking for a grand coalition government or government of national unity that involves all parties, all parties, civil society, youth, women, all coming together to forge a new future. So let's see on what will happen after this. What will go on in Tanzania? So I'll be watching keenly what's going in Tanzania and reporting it on my YouTube channel, The Hawkins Experience. Let me know your thoughts. Should Samia Suluhu reach out for a dialogue or with the opposition leaders? And also, can the ICC really help in investigating the harm that has been done in Tanzania? It's good for you to share your views with me here on the comment section. It will be nice. Thank you.